Wesleyan is stardust and magic.
It's home.
An experience that changed my life.
Wesleyan is possibility.
A really open place.
Wesleyan is catalytic.
Pursuing knowledge with joy and zest.
Wesleyan is love.
I'm a proud Wesleyan graduate, and I've been president of Wesleyan University since 2007. Wesleyan is a hothouse of creativity where people feel not so much pressure, but joyful inspiration. I think that's what attracted me to the place initially, because I wasn't sure what lane I should be in at all. And at Wesleyan, they said, that's cool. You don't need to be a person who's chosen the path.
30 years past college, I am the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for NBC Universal's Global Advertising and Partnerships Division. So when I think back to who I was at 17, Wesleyan was this place of young energy, but safety and family and community. I found that everything that I've given to Wesleyan, Wesleyan has given back to me triple-fold.
I am president of BRC, the Barry Residence Committee, a nonprofit housing and social service organization here in New York City. So when I came to Wes, I had a passion for social justice, and I wanted to figure out how could I make an impact and change the social dynamic. And what I became passionate about was not the process of making policy, but how to turn policies, words into actions.
Wesleyan does provide the spirit that allows us to start stuff.
I'm an urban revitalization strategist and real estate developer.
The thing that I loved about it was that there were so many learners and nothing was too weird to learn. I appreciated that, especially, since I did have a lot of interests that I didn't really know much about, but wanted to explore them all.
My name is Tembi Locke. I am an actor, a writer, an author, a screenwriter, and a producer. It is a space that is incredibly invigorating, and it gives us more power and agency when we leave Wesleyan.
Wesleyan encourages you to go out and experience the world. For me, that was studying abroad. I went to Italy, I had this adventure for a year. That pivotal moment, that question, right, that Wesleyan said, go see what else is out there. I had no idea that many years later, that would become a New York Times bestselling book based on the experiences I had as a student studying abroad.
My name is Francisco Tizen, and I am currently the president and CEO of A Better Chance. And we help young students of color identify and access transformative educational experiences at some of the nation's leading schools, and then help propel them onto college and careers. So the reverberations of a Wesleyan education and the community is one that has stayed with me, and I think part of that is, it's certainly its commitment to civic engagement and social justice, the commitment to thinking globally, and at the same time, trying to realize a difference and change in community.
I'm Luke Wood. I'm the class of '91. My story began in the record business. I was a publicist and then a director of marketing. Then I started making records, finding rock bands, greatest job in the world for about a decade. I was the president of Beats, and then I became a VP of Apple and ran the Beats business unit, among other things, until 2020, and now I'm doing new stuff. When I first arrived in Wesleyan as a freshman in 1987, I didn't know anybody. And I would say it took me all of about 16 hours to find my tribe. I was sitting on Foss Hill wearing a Velvet Underground t-shirt. Someone came up and asked me about the Velvet Underground, and an hour and a half later, he and I were playing guitar, and we've been playing the guitar together for 35 years ever since. And so I think in terms of finding your community, finding your tribe, finding places where you feel comfortable, Wesleyan's unbelievably open. It doesn't really work in a cliquish way, because the nature of a Wesleyan student is they're kind of anti-authoritarian, and they're kind of do it themselves, and they kind of question everything. And so those people are not stuck in this idea of where do you belong.
My name's Dan Limerick. I'm now the COO and head of business affairs for the William Morris Endeavor Talent Agency. Well, I transferred into Wesleyan as a junior. One of the best decisions I've made. I was a US history major. You got to really know your classmates. You knew seniors, knew freshmen. It was very interconnected, more community-based, much more conscious. When you came to classes, you had to really be, engaged in a meaningful way and go deeper on subjects. I think it really kind of set me up to be far more analytical, to go a lot deeper on subjects, see things from multiple sides. So you really could get anything you wanted at the school.
There are these extraordinary opportunities there, surprising connections, a place where radically different people seemed to be weirdly supportive of each other. And there's a lot of open doors there. My name is Bradley Whitford. I've done some writing, done some directing, done some producing, but basically an actor. I'm an entertainer.
I'm Joe Finns, and I'm a doctor and medical ethicist, and I'm chief of the Division of Medical Ethics at Weill Cornell Medicine in New York City, and also a visiting professor of law at the Yale Law School, where I teach bioethics and disability law and the rights of patients with severe brain injury. I started off as a pre-med major. I thought I was a biology major, but I found a deep love of the humanities and ended up majoring in the College of Letters. I was a smart, ambitious, kid who wanted to go to medical school. I left still wanting to go to medical school, but understanding that it was deeper than the science.
I'm Jennifer Flackett. I am a writer, director, and producer. I'm a co-creator of a show called Big Mouth on Netflix. I don't think I really knew how to be comfortable in my skin until I went to Wesleyan. The reason why I was able to become a writer was that so much of who I was had already been activated at Wesleyan.
I'm John Turtletaub, and I direct movies. I chose Wesleyan because when I did my campus visit, I'd never seen more life on a campus. There were just people doing stuff in a good mood everywhere. Wow, look at all this awesome stuff available for you. This is what I learned at Wesleyan in a lot of ways in terms of becoming a filmmaker. If you just study film and get all into just that area, you got nothing to make a movie about. Wesleyan opened the whole world up to me, like an intellectual world, an academic world. Theater, film, history, poetry, science, all of it was equally awesome. And you can learn all of that stuff. So when you go forth into the world, you are equipped. Wesleyan is not going to teach you what to think, but how to think, how to find more wisdom in more places.
It's about understanding, it's about difference, it's about patience.
Wesleyan's an open book.
Wesleyan is necessary.
The future of American democracy really hinges on preparing people to be fluent in both the sciences and the humanities. And I think Wesleyan has the opportunity to kind of lead the world, lead the nation in fostering that kind of crosstalk.
Wesleyan has a mission in the world. It's for the good of the individual and it's for the good of society. An institution like Wesleyan committed to free speech, intellectual diversity, and broadening access to our school is so vital. Wesleyan is a place of challenge, of invigorating creativity, and of sometimes threatening difference. And the people here seem to embrace that. And I think the future of Wesleyan is so important because we need that. That ethos is going to be ever more important.